All right, I have a short email, a shorter email here. Let's get through it real quickly. How do you move on? How do you move on? Let's go through this together. I'm 37 years old. I'm a 37 years old man. My wife is divorcing me since she's in love with another man. Ouch, ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. That's got to be, no, that's a terrible feeling, okay? I know that for a fact. That's a terrible feeling that you must have been going through, right? We're just starting the divorce process. I torment myself with the fact of her with him. She currently spends time with him while we're going through this. She does not respect my wishes to not see him during this process. She has plans to date him once our divorce is final. I just can't get over the fact that she no longer loves me and gave her heart to someone else. We have children together, so I have to keep the peace for them. How can I stop the pain? I'm just so miserable. All right, so this is a difficult one. I understand how painful this must be feeling. In my opinion, I think this is actually much more painful for men, simply because most men don't expect to ever go through this, right? Yeah, most men don't expect to ever go through this. So the expectations, it's like you find yourself this high, but then you're falling all the way. The higher you go in your mindset, as in like expectations of like this will never happen, the harder you fall, the more painful your fall will be, right? So, but anyway, let's get through it really quickly. Let's make it short and sweet. I'm a 37 years old man. 37 years old as a full ass grown man, right? The last thing a man wants at the age of 37 is to find out that they're not good enough, right? To find out that they are in a position where they feel like they're not good enough. That's what a lot of people call the prime age of a man. Like at that point, you feel like I figured this shit out, called life, right? And I'm about to rest in my masculinity and start enjoying life. And then you find out something like this, it will absolutely, I can only imagine, will crush him, right? So it's a very delicate age, in my opinion. My wife is divorcing me since she's in love with another man, right? So imagine your wife coming to you and say, I'm in love with another man. I had a neighbor that told me a terrible story like that, that the woman actually started dating somebody else, right? And they had two children, two boys together. The woman started dating somebody else, and basically the woman came to him one day. He knew that this woman started dating somebody else, and they were still living together just to save money, right? And just manage and save money until they're able to save enough, and maybe he will move out or she'll move out. And one day the woman comes to him. It's a white people, right? The woman comes to him and say, hey, my boyfriend and I we're thinking about getting pregnant. And the guy was like, what? And they're like, well, kind of like, you should expect this. You know, I was dating somebody else. They're still legally married. It's crazy, right? So it's a lot of craziness that happens out there, actually. We're just starting the divorce process. So they're already going through divorce. I torment myself with the fact of her with him. I can understand, because again, you're still stuck in that funk. But it's time to gain some self-respect, man. Okay? You have very low self-respect for yourself. And it's hard for the outside world not to agree with how you feel about yourself. It's extremely hard. It's also very hard to to rationalize what I just said. It's very difficult to find yourself, because again, you're caught up in your emotions right now. You feel rejection, and rejection breeds obsession, right? And it's very difficult, but I'm sharing these things with you because I'm sharing this with you because at least you're able to rationalize and say, hey, I lack some self-respect. Let me gain some self-respect. What does that look like? Essentially, you will stop begging someone that doesn't want to be with you to be with you. You will start seeing yourself as a king. You will start seeing yourself as deserve better than somebody who said no to you, right? It's a mindset. It's a mindset shift, right? It may not even be the reality yet, but it starts with shifting your mindset so that it can become reality, right? I torment myself with the fact of how with him. Yes, that's exactly what you're doing. But again, it goes back to lack of self-respect. Okay? It's not an indictment. It's just a space where you are right now. It actually gets more perpetuated because again, you just feel this level of rejection. So you're not wrong. It's just what it is, and it's the worst of things that can happen to. It happens to a lot of people, right? But you got to give yourself a pass and gain some self-respect as soon as you can, because it's not going to get better by sulking. It's not. Or by hoping that she will come back, right? She may never come back. In fact, you gaining some self-respect is the only thing that can increase the chances that she will get herself together and decide to come back. But even at that, the question is that, do you really want that kind of woman back? That's a question you should not get in a space where you're able to answer that question. Because right now you're in a space that you're willing to tolerate any kind of bullshit. And I would be careful with that, right? She currently spends time with him while we're going through this. It's disrespectful. But again, when I see how you type this, I can feel that you actually lack self-respect. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3-time author. Those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. And again, it's hard for the outside world to agree or disagree with you. It's hard for the outside world to disagree with how much you feel of yourself when it comes to respect. See, people only do to you what you allow them to do to you. That's just a fact of life. At least when it comes to emotional matters. We're not talking about physical altercations or some kind of crazy paternity fraud. We're not talking about the extremes. We're talking about simple things like emotional, like for example, a woman telling you that she's no longer in love with you, but you find yourself in this space that you're tormenting yourself. It goes back to lack of self-respect. It's time to feel yourself, to take care of yourself. Stop focusing so much on another human being. At the end of the day, the bottom line is that she's another human being, right? She has plans to date him once our divorce is final. How do you know this? You're too engaged in this situation. Wait, rightfully so. Granted, it's difficult. This is your wife who just chose to leave you, so you're naturally obsessed. But this is going to be a lot of work for you. Okay, you may need therapy for this. You may need serious counseling for this. You need professionals that will ask you the right questions to help you draw that self-respect out of you, because it's not going to come from the outside. People will only agree with the level of respect you have for yourself. Okay, I just can't get over the fact that she no longer loves me. If you claim it's a fact, why are you waiting to get over it? Why don't you just face it and say, hey, this is the reality? Why? Because you're also caught up in that emotion. You're obsessed with the situation right now, but also you're missing out on life effectively, right? And this is easier said than done, but you can do it. But it starts with the awareness, right? And give her heart to someone else. It's not necessarily better for her, right? It's just sometimes you start to feel like this is better for her, right? It's not necessarily better for her, but it actually doesn't matter. The bottom line is that phase has ended. And as a grown man, 37 years old, you have to face this and deal with it square. Face your fear. You have fear of moving on, right? You have fear of moving. Face it, right? Just do it, right? It's extremely difficult. It's easier said than done. But with the help of professionals, they can ask you the right questions to help you see the reason and start to rationalize why you must move on. But that's the answer right there. You have to find value in moving on. You need help in identifying the values, the greater value in moving on. Like, listen, even if she ever comes back and you decide for your own reasons that you want to stay with this woman, that will be your personal decision. You will still need to identify the value in doing that, because if you don't do that, it's going to be extremely bad. It's going to be worse, right? I just can't get over the fact that she no longer loves me and gave her heart to someone else. We have children together, so I have to keep the peace for them. No, keep the peace for yourself. You are a grown man. You are a whole human being. You deserve happiness too, right? Right? Give the peace to yourself so you can give it to your children. If you do not have peace, you cannot give what you don't have to your children. You can't give it to her. And yes, your ex-wife, your wife, you're going through the divorce. This is the reality of a lot of people, right? The work you're going to need to do on yourself is to make sure you heal, right? Because this is painful, as you're expressing here, and when it's painful, you tend to dig through the wound, and then and then it never heals, right? You're digging through it. How do you do that? You end up in the wrong echo chamber, and you're bashing women. You have to be careful with things like that. The truth is that you had an experience that's terrible, right? And there's a place that God is taking you. That's just the honest truth. Okay, He's taking you somewhere, and if you didn't go through this experience, there's a good chance you wouldn't get to the other side. So embrace it, right? Embrace it. It's easier said than done. Embrace it. Embrace the process. Engage professionals that can help you. Process your thoughts, right? You're gonna have a lot of thoughts going through you, especially thoughts like you're not good enough. Thoughts that you're not good enough will continue to destroy you, even after she's long gone. And that's the biggest part about this. That's what I mean by going through the healing, where you get to a spot and you say, hey, that wasn't my fault. As a matter of fact, fault wasn't relevant. It was a beautiful phase. I have 2 children. I'm trying to move on to the next side of my life. God has something serious in store for me, right? This is your belief system. Everything that happens from this point on is going to be driven by your belief system, which you absolutely have the power to alter, to change, to change it in the direction of the kind of results you're looking for. How can I stop the pain? I'm so miserable. Okay? Engage counseling. Engage good counseling. Engage wise counsel. I guarantee you're not the only one going through it. Okay? There's nothing you're going through. The heaven is not going to fall out of the sky today. It's a guarantee. Not today, okay? There's a high chance you're going to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow morning and everything is going to remain the same. Just put your house in order. Put yourself in order first so you can pour into your children. Let her go. If you really want her back, your best chances to even attract her back into that space, if it's possible ever, and if it's even healthy, is to let her go. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but that's the only thing you can do, bro. That's the only thing you can control. Let her go and be okay with the new reality. Don't worry about the realities that's ideal. Like the ideal is like we stay. See, listen, I understand how you feel. I'm married. I've been married for 15 years. I want even my enemy to experience what I'm experiencing, but I'm also aware that not everyone will be blessed in that way. You will be blessed in your own way. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're listening to me and this wasn't you, and you have some kind of advice, a pushback or anything like that, please, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to add that in the comment area. I want to know what your thoughts are about this story, because we can all continue the conversation and we can also gain a lot from it all together. All right. And these are sizable books. They're minimum 200 pages. You can download them absolutely for free by simply going to, for example, this one, you just go to getmymarriageback.com, smartrealestatewholesaling.com, realestatemoneysecrets.com. So yes, I am a 3 times author, and those books are out there for your consumption, and they are also available everywhere on Amazon, anywhere that you pick up books. So in case you prefer a physical book like that. All right, welcome back. So we also have my parents want me to break up with my girlfriend. I have a story here that I definitely think we should go through really quickly. Let me share the screen with you so you can follow along with me. Let's see. Let's share the screen. Boom. Let's talk about this together. My parents want me to break up with my